What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to break down all the news with NIO partnering with one of China's top universities, and we're also going to break down the news that came out with NIO opening more swap stations, because we got a little bit of news there, and them expanding their swapping abilities more. And we're also going to talk a little bit about AMD, because it's been going to the moon, and it's actually coming back to reality, so we're going to break that down, give you all the analysis on that, so stick around to the end of the video for that. But first, if you guys haven't hit the sub button, hit that sub button. It's the best way to support the channel, and it keeps you guys up to date on all things stock market related news and all of, all that we talk about. But without further ado, let's give it some razzle dazzle and hop into it. So first, let's talk about NIO partnering with one of China's top universities to open a lab for research and development purposes to further expand NIO's technology and their capability to develop new things. And they're actually, obviously we had the whole battery story come out the other day, which caused a lot of EVs to go down. I think it was it Goldman Sachs? Or was it Bank of America? Do you remember which? Bank of America came out and said that they believe that there's going to be a battery shortage in the coming future for a lot of these EVs, which sent a lot of them down. Well, actually, with NIO partnering with this university to open a lab, they're actually developing new ways to basically make battery abilities cheaper and to make them last longer. So NIO has partnered again with the top university. It's the University of Science and Technology of China, and they launched a smart electric vehicle joint lab the other day on August 4th. They said the lab announced the development plan, and according to this plan, the lab will select a number of projects with cutting-edge technologies and topics to enter the research and development stage, towards the end of this year in September. These topics include anything from autonomous driving to the algorithm, the autonomous driving algorithm, to hardware, to security, to the to the core, to the computers that drive these cars, to power management, so literally everything. Like the entire car. But they said on April 30th that that NIO and this college signed a strategic cooperation agreement to cooperate in technology research and talent training. So they're probably pulling students from this university to help train them for this career path and help develop these technologies. But they did say late last month that this university actually successfully developed a new chloride material that is expected to accelerate the commercialization of solid-state batteries, which we know that NIO is putting a semi-solid-state battery in their ET7, which is supposed to, that gives it the range, and that is, I'm assuming that from this point forward, that that's what they're going to start putting in a lot of their cars, especially their newer cars. The university team also said that the cost of the raw material, they reduced the cost from $23.05 all the way down to $1.38 for 50 micron thickness. That's right. So, like completely dropping that price like a rock. Yeah. So they said that that's clearly, obviously going to help the whole battery situation, and the more that they develop on this. And I know they were talking about Cattle, which is the one that supplies, NIO with a lot of the batteries now, that they're working on the sodium. I believe it's the sodium batteries as well. So, hopefully that helps this whole battery supply, and that we don't face some kind of shortage, because that's really going to hinder the market when that becomes a problem.
Yeah, they're doing the sodium, and they have one that's supposedly they're working on one that lasts 16 years, and I believe it was 1.2 million miles. Right. So yeah, that's really going to help, obviously, the battery issue if you don't have to replace the battery every, say, a couple 100,000 miles,
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So speaking of that, this all correlates into the battery swap stations, and NIO's actually on their way to meeting the goal of, I think they said they want, 90%?
Yeah, 90% within 3 kilometers, which is insane. We actually talked about that with our collaboration with NIO Trending over there, and how the infrastructure for that is just insane. Because think about it for a second. That's unreal. So by the end of July, actually 31% of users had a battery swap station within 3 kilometers, a 3 kilometer radius, according to data released Friday by NIO. And they said that on the Power Day event on July 9th, that it was around 29%. So, from pretty much a month, they were able to go from 29% to 31%, which is pretty good. But they obviously still said that's unsatisfactory, because, like we said, they want 90% within a 3 kilometer radius by 2025. Again, that's just insane. But by the end of July, the average number of users at a given swap station was down 30% from April, with 606 customers to 424 customers per swap station. But you got to remember, that's just because from April to now, like they've put in hundreds of new battery swap stations. So, obviously how many people are going to each battery station is going to be less because there's more battery swap stations.
Right.
But NIO said battery swap stations provided an average of 39 services per day in the first half of the year, and second gen swap stations can provide up to 312 services per day. And also, just once the second gen swap stations was released, user wait time was reduced by 21% compared to the first gen. And we said before, they swap it in like under 3 minutes, which is just craziness. And also, their total swap stations is now up to 348. And we've talked about this before. Originally they wanted to do 500, but now at the Power Day, they said, nah, we're going to do 700 by the end of this year.
Right.
And they've been doing them like crazy. Like they did just like 11 just a couple weeks ago in one day. Like they've been cranking them out. It's nuts.
Right. And that's a good thing to see. And that tells me that the company is growing. And I'm expecting with their earnings coming out, even if they don't meet their earnings, I'm looking to see what NIO is doing with their money, what they're doing with their time and effort, if they're expanding the company or if it's just a big waste of time. Because even if they don't meet Wall Street's expectations, I don't really care, because this is a young company. Right. And this is what people have to realize with NIO, is that it's a young company. We're not expecting this to triple overnight. This is a long-term play. I think this is just as long as it's going to take for, Tesla took 10 plus years to blow up. And so now we're waiting. Now we're waiting for this with NIO. We got to wait for the profitability. I would love to see profitability by the end of this year. I don't think it's going to happen. I would love to see it,
because they're spending a crazy amount of money with with expanding new factories and everything.
Exactly.
So, which, I mean, some people complain, the company's spending too much money and they want them to be profitable, but it's like you can't really expand and stuff if you're not spending money. So it's
exactly.
So yeah, it might take them a little bit longer to be profitable, but that's only because they're expanding, which the company needs to do for for long time success. So you can't really complain very much.
Remember, it's a long-term play. Some of you guys may be day trading this thing. That's perfectly fine. But us, we're in it long-term. We did reduce our positions at one point to kind of help us diversify, because that definitely helped us in the last coming days. With NIO going down, and it's been an absolute bloodbath. But it's fantastic. We are definitely in NIO long term, and that's what we're holding on it. So speaking of diversification, AMD, let's talk about it. So AMD, as you guys know, had their earnings a couple weeks ago. They announced that they're launching a new processor, and man, this thing has taken off. Wall Street Bets got a hold of it, sent this thing up to the moon, all the way up to $122, and then now it's recently pulled back all the way down to $110. So now it's to the point, okay, where do you think this is going to go from here? So I bought in, I opened my position in AMD at $90, and I sold at 118, taking the profits, and now we're sitting at 110. So that's good on my end. Took that profitability. I could have held, could have said diamond hands, whatever nonsense, but no, I took the profitability, took my cash, and now look, I can buy back in with a profit. So me personally, let's just start off by looking at TipRanks, show you guys what it's doing. We'll break it down from there. So looking at TipRanks, we can see that the stock price again is at $110, and they have the average price of 107. So for me, I think this is going to continue to fall. I have a price target of AMD of around 105. And again, that's not too far off there, 107, because AMD has been stuck between the 80 and 90 range. It's been stuck in there for months now. Like, this is finally breaking out of that. I hope it continues to break out of that. I would love to see it push towards 150. But I'm waiting for this to cool off. I'm waiting for, the more pullback, and I'm waiting for, I really want to see Wall Street Bets drop it. I do not want to see AMD turn into a meme stock, because we see what happens with AMC and GameStop.
Yeah, I think that ruins the company stock when they do that.
I agree.
So yeah, I want it to come down more, because obviously I want to buy back in as well and hold long term, but I don't know how much it's going to drop. We'll just have to wait and see. I would like it to at least If it got back down to 100, that would be awesome. I don't know if I see it getting down that low again. But yeah, like I said, I'll just have to wait and see. But I'll be probably just buying little chunks at a time as it's going down, if it keeps going down. Cause
right.
Meh.
And yeah, it's a good possibility that it may not reach that low, but this is a good chance for me to dollar cost average in again and enter my position again. Now, if we look at the stock chart, speaking of like what you were just talking about, we are still pretty high up on the RSI, up towards 67, towards the top of this. So I still think that we're going to see some pullback. I would love to see it go back down to 105. But again, the closer that gets to 100, then I'm probably going to enter a position again. I would love to see it get back into the 90s, so then I can even lower even more. But whether or not it gets there, I don't know. But right now, again, we're sitting at 110, way above the 50-day and the 200-day moving average. And again, the RSI is still a little high, so I'm still expecting some kind of pullback. We told you guys this pullback was coming, and it was just a matter of time when, and clearly this is it now. So we'll find out whether or not it does any kind of reversal and goes back towards the moon. But I would love to see AMD by the end of the year sitting around 120 to 125. And, with their earnings coming in October and other things, like I'm sure they're just going to keep building the company. And I know they have a big merger coming as well. So we'll see what happens with AMD.
Their server chips that, they're doing really good on that because Intel delayed their release of their new one. So
exactly,
a lot of those sales are just going into AMD. And AMD's just been killing the game lately. So I think it's gonna be
that's
great.
the thing. And that's the thing. We can also see, like you said, they are killing the game, but we can see, look at the volume here, 143 million volume. We didn't see that until the end of July, beginning of August.
Yeah,
so this is pretty much an outlier right now.
It started going up really good after they had their earnings.
Right, exactly. And it's like we've had earnings back here, but clearly we can see that it's pretty much just traded sideways for quite a while. Again, stuck in that 70 to 80, 90 range for quite some time, and the volume was relatively low. I mean, it doubled. It's almost doubled in the last month. So, that is usually unusual activity. So we'll see where AMD goes from here. Again, I'm still bullish on AMD. I think it's undervalued. Intel as well. I think Intel is dirt cheap right now. It's just they're falling behind on their server processor and them updating their information, or updating more processors and pushing new products out, and considering they're twice the price of AMD processors. So I'm going to keep an eye on Intel as well, because I do think that's a possible buy as well, but we'll break that down in another video. But that's going to wrap up this video. We hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, you know what to do. Hit that sub button, hit that like, share, notification bell, all that good stuff. It really helps support the channel. It really does. It pushes us to a new audience, and it helps grow the community here, so you guys can all get more information and do your own due diligence with even the community here. But also, if you guys want a community, we got a link down in the description for the Patreon that gets you access to our Discord, gets you access to the community, gets you access to our portfolios and the Discord portfolio. And we're actually working on new stuff for the Discord portfolio to bring more value to that as well. So if you guys want any of that, it's all down below. And we also got links down there for Weeble, and we got one down there for the Stock Dude merchandise, where we actually dropped a new t-shirt. If you guys are interested in that, it's America, man. It's America themed, so it's real good. I like it. I got some on order. They should be here hopefully in the next coming week or so. So look out for that. But that's gonna wrap up this video. We hope you enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next video.